Hi, everyone. My name is Lydia Martinez. I am the owner of L Marketing Events and Restaurant Owners Marketing Academy. Today, I'm really excited to talk to you about Twitter. Um, Twitter as a social media platform is one of the OG platforms, right? Um, and it is a really, really phenomenal tool. It's still very, very relevant. And it's something that's well worth talking about. So, with Twitter, some things to keep in mind, and whether or not it's right for you to use for your business, is you have to be able to actually be on Twitter and engage in the conversation on a regular basis. And it has to be you personally if you want to actually truly grow your Twitter presence. Um, you want to be using it for relevant in the moment news, relevant in the moment disclosures. It works great for people that are in some sort of media. They have a personal blog. They have content that they're creating on a regular basis. They're creating video. They're using humor. They have an audience that likes following professionals in certain industries. So, for example, financial advisors, cryptocurrency experts, people that have a really strong personal brand or want to build up a strong personal brand in a specific industry. Chefs that are building up their personal persona do really well on Twitter, where they have their own website, they have their own thing that they're building out, kind of separate from the day-to-day of their restaurant. Twitter is also great if you are working to be relevant in a hyper-technical industry. Like I said, financial advisors, real estate, things like that. But also some things that are a little bit more uncommon. So, for example, one of my very early clients at L Marketing, they were an original Cricket energy bar company where they were using cricket powder to make energy bars that were consumable, as a more sustainable way. And one of the tactics that we used for them truly was Twitter. One, because they were on Shark Tank. So because of that, they had a really broad TV audience that they were reaching, and Twitter was a good way to reach them. Another reason why we worked on Twitter is because there were scientists and industry experts in the field that it really made sense to follow them, engage with them, because they were thought leaders in the cricket energy field. The other thing is we had a customized hashtag for them, Cricket Power, and we were working with various influencers, athletes, things like that, outdoors people, to promote the sustainability of cricket energy bars. And so it was a really, really good tool, where it was something that was a little bit more niche, a little bit more unusual, but there was still a following and people engaged in it. And it was a growing thing that people were curious about. So that's the type of thing where Twitter works really well as part of an overarching social media strategy. It also works very well if you're regularly going to trade shows, you're a speaker at conferences, things like that. Having a personal Twitter account is really, really useful for those instances to genuinely connect with people that are also in attendance at that show. One of the tips for Twitter that I have is you need to be sure that you're posting pretty consistently on Twitter to stay relevant. So think 2 to 3 times a day. And when I'm saying posting, it doesn't always have to be your personal original content. It can also be something where you are retweeting somebody in your industry, you're sharing somebody else's tweet, you're sharing an article that's relevant in your industry, adding in your 2 cents. It doesn't always have to be from scratch content. The other great thing about Twitter is it moves very, very fast. So you can actually adjust or tweak the content and share very similar things, a week or so apart, as long as it's still kind of relevant and not a news item that has an expiration date. So content can be recycled much more often than any other social media platform. One of the things that I really like doing with Twitter is using an actual scheduling tool to get my tweets out there, one that will analyze the times that my audience is most active and automatically post at that time. There's a myriad of them out there. Hootsuite is one of the original ones. Buffer is really fantastic. Sprout Social is another one that's a little bit more expensive but has great analytics. And it will analyze feeds and things like that to help you find content that's relative to retweet or repost. Another thing that's really important on Twitter is to create an actual persona. Decide who it is that you are on that platform and be ready to stick to that personality. That's something else that's really, really important. Another thing that I highly recommend on Twitter is to use hashtags. Hashtags were born on Twitter. And then other social media platforms adopted them, and Instagram even made hashtags their own. Now you almost don't find a social media platform without hashtags, but Twitter is the original hashtag king. And so it's really important that you do 1 to 2 hashtags on every single tweet. Usually I will have a personal hashtag of some sort that catalogs me individually or my content specifically. And then from there, I'll also have a hashtag that's industry specific or a little bit funny, things like that. Twitter has also really grown in having people engage with video or visual content on the platform. It used to be that if you posted a video, you posted visual content, you had to click to see it fully. But now Twitter has started getting with the autoplay and things like that. And so you're far more likely to actually just see it right from the get-go. And so video is a really fantastic tool. Short form videos on Twitter do really, really well. One of the other things that is critical for Twitter is that you're taking time to engage. Like other people's tweets, comment on them, share them, congratulate people on their wins. And so to be able to do all of those things, you need to actually follow other accounts. Follow accounts that are active, that are relevant, that are engaging, that are creating things that are interesting to you. Also, beware of who you follow and what you like. Your Twitter history can come back and bite you, as evidenced by things that we're seeing now that the platform is more than a decade old. We're starting to see people that are coming back and having a tweet from 10 years ago cause them problems with things that they said on a public forum, something that they liked, that they just clicked a heart on, and someone went back through all their likes and actually found that. So be really aware and be cautious about what you're liking, what you're commenting on, what you're retweeting, that it is something that's not going to harm you long term. So those are my Twitter tips and recommendations to make it a really fantastic tool for you, for your personal branding, for your personal marketing. Again, use it if you're trying to build that personal brand. Be prepared to post consistently. Use a tool to post at the best times for your audience. Add in those hashtags. Make sure that there's some visual content in there, that you're not just tweeting words or hyperlinks. Retweet, engage other people, and follow other accounts that are relevant in your industry. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. And if you have any questions about your social media, need help with social media management or strategy, please reach out. We're always happy to do a free consultation. Thanks again for tuning in. Again, my name is Lydia Martinez with Elle Marketing and Events.